Hi there. Well, I come on for starters tonight with an apology. I got goofed up in my uploads lately, um, and if you're set up to get notified every time I do an upload and you went and listened, you realized, oh my gosh, 3 different times I think I had the wrong title and description with a video. I was on a roll at one point and neglected to name and do a text for a live one, and so they got out of sync. And I do apologize for that. It is a real mystery to me how the last 2 happened because I knew what I was watching for and I thought I was being careful. Oh well, all of those are uploaded now, so as you can guess, it's doubtful I will be neglecting to do my administrative duties timely. So anyway, I'm feeling very different as usual, and I hope you guys are too. Um, it's not just me in this. So if you're trying to force yourself, or if your mind is trying to force you to run in the accustomed channels, um, break out of that. You know, let yourself be. Unfold your wings. Flap them around a little bit. Okay, maybe we can't fly just yet, but so what? At least we've got wings. We're discovering that. Metaphorically, of course. So I'm doing what I can to accommodate me. And whatever the difference is, every time I turn around, I'm feeling different. Uh, the journals that I wrote today were truly different yet again. And if I didn't already have some recorded and ready to botch on the upload, maybe I would have recorded them. I'll get around to it. But how about you, my friends? How is your difference manifesting? Um, I found myself doing something very strange today. Um, I've discovered someone recently that I hadn't known about. His name is Tony Parsons. As usual, somebody sent me a link, and I think I found the third person that I can say is most likely enlightened. And I don't believe he claims that. He doesn't even claim to be a person, which, you know, I can kind of relate to. Uh, but he and Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle are probably the only ones at this point that I would say, you know, if they wanted to, could claim such a thing. And the interesting thing is that when people reach a state like that, they don't claim it. I'm not including Jed McKenna. He did indeed reach an unusual state and was able to be helpful to many. I just have some ambiguous feelings about him. There was the things that bothered me. I'll just be real with it. The things that bothered me and made me look the other way with Jed were that he did claim enlightenment, and there was an arrogance there that that it just felt like arrogance to me. And there was what I saw as a path with no heart. And he really confirmed that for me when he said he found absolutely no trace of love or anything like that in his new state. And so it's just one of those things. It's a stream I don't care to drink from. So you hear me say these kinds of things, right? What was I doing today? I was looking up the Galactic Federation. I checked out Miss Destiny again and confirmed that thank you, but no thank you. And I looked up Sheldon Neidl, and I just went back Oh, and I even looked up, are you ready? Ramtha. Um, if I'd have thought of it, I'd have probably looked up Ashtar Command. You know, just to see, because we're new beings all of the time. Things that once fascinated us, held our attention. There was a period of time when I was quite amazed by the messages that were coming through, supposedly from this galactic federation. Um, Names like Salusa and so on, and channelers like Nidal. There was one other one. A lot of the channelers I refused even back then, but there were a couple that I felt were a notch or two above the rest. And so I would watch when every 3 or 4 days or so, they would come out with something. And I remember being excited to get it and read it and that kind of a thing. And I do. I remember thinking, well, this is a little too good to be true. Um, a little bizarre. They're talking about these endless funds and how they've got people in the various governments and positions just waiting to be kind of activated, and how they're going to participate in bringing things back around to something that's wonderful. And over a period of time, I really tried hard to believe in that stuff. And I was never unreserved with it, but I did get to where I would tell people about it and just to discuss it, bat the ideas back and forth. We know the banking system is deeply, deeply flawed. And I'm a true believer that anything is possible. There was a being that walked the earth under the name the Count of Saint Germain, and he was a bit of a wonder worker. He could do some pretty strange things. He could take a diamond that was deeply flawed and make it perfect. He would wear them on his shoes, I guess, among other things. And he lived for quite a long time, always looking very young, a bit like one called Babaji, a Himalayan master that many have claimed to be. Very interesting. All of these ones and all of these different streams that are flowing into our reality, such as it is. I mean, it's not real, but then again, it is. Mostly I was, and okay, let me finish that up. I didn't find that I had the patience to deal with those various ones that I mentioned. Um, I couldn't even sit through one one video for most of them. I think I might have listened to two from Ramtha, but I was just looking for, I don't know, where the being is coming from, you know, what they're trying. Instead of being on the receiving end, I was more looking for what are they trying to accomplish and in what way are they trying to manipulate us, in order to see behind a little bit into that. And I find that pretty interesting, maybe even a little bit arrogant. I don't know. Um, but I'm here to tell you, I'm not enlightened, and I don't claim to be. I'm not even really comfortable thinking of self as a teacher. I'm not that. I'm being taught along with the rest of you. Uh, the one thing I've stumbled on or found is being in heart, and it's a real power, and I can feel the flow of it, and I know a lot of you can as well. And there's something really beautiful there. But this is not a completion you're looking at. This isn't a Byron Katie or anything like that. So, and I think you know that. Okay, so there's that. Now, where else was I going? Oh, Tony Parsons. Have you ever listened to him? He's one where um, I heard from Nisargadatta, there's no such thing as a person. And nothing ever really happened. And there's no one for it to happen to. And I have a limited understanding of that. I experience it sometimes, but it's not my all the time way of being, I freely admit. So it's somewhat disconcerting to find somebody so thoroughly into that understanding and yet still sharing himself. That's really good. I think a lot of times when these kind of openings or awakenings would happen, people would go off into the forest, and maybe gain a group around them um, for whom they would teach. I don't think there's a need to teach by someone like that. I think Muji um, can also be placed in this group. There's just a joy in sharing. There's just a real joy in connecting with people. Something that George Kavasilis has said in a number of interviews has been coming to me of late. And he says, the flavors and the varieties are endless of the ways that the dark force has of entrapping us and the different ways they design the neat little cages and things. Maybe getting us to go off planet with them is their plan A, but they've got all the way through plan Z in order to just help us not wake up. They don't want to be surpassed. And so as you look at the various messages that are coming out, you can really see that. And it's my deep hope more and more that with so many of us little folks waking up and shining a light, just by your being, you make a difference. Just by my being, I make a difference. We radiate out into the fractal, and the difference occurs throughout cosmos. And our little brain wants to freak out at that, and all of the teachings that we've been given about how small we are want to jump up and down and shout and stomp their feet. Who do you think you are? And just don't listen. Just recognize that you've got some beliefs going on there, maybe something to look at later, and see about excavating and eliminating some of them, because we do make a difference just by our being. It's not a doing. Any kind of a doing seems to get done through us. It's not that we're doing a doing. And in a way, maybe that's like saying you're not a person, because from the locality of the person, the apparent person, that's not where decisions are being made. That's not from where the life is being run. So I think in ways like this, in small ways, we too can begin to step into or step out of our personhood, I think is more what it amounts to, because we've come down in so deep into 3D materiality, and we've taken on all of the beliefs and we've identified with so much of it, and that's the person, and that part is truly not real. All of those beliefs are nonsense. When we reach the point where we have fewer and fewer and fewer beliefs, you get to feeling so light, and I think that's when the joy it really begins to flow. And it's in the background all of the time. Even when something difficult is going on, I can still sense a quiet joy in my heart. And it's just a joy in being. It's not connected to anything. and it's not disconnected from anything. It's just there. And I guess it helps me keep a certain sense of balance or poise such that whatever's happening isn't impressing me too much. I don't know. I don't know. It's impersonal, maybe. Maybe we all need to learn to be a little bit more impersonal. I, for one, am learning instead of the goody two shoes kind of a thing that I used to be comfortable with. I'm actually starting to speak up when I listen to a video and I feel really good about it or really bad about it. Or I look at the comments, and sometimes you watch a wonderful upbeat video and you see that there are a number of people who have commented negatively on it, and you wonder, where are they coming from? What have they found to take offense at? You know, and you look at the comments. I think Kent Healy had a video on quantum mechanics, and I put it in my favorites. And there was somebody who had put in a number of really, really negative comments about it, and I found myself answering that. Well, that's a surprise. I mean, I could say that's not me. That's not any me that I've ever been or recognized. But that's a part of the newness. You find yourself just doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Now, there was somebody else later on down in the comment list who had also said something negative, but that person, you could tell, was shut down, and it wouldn't do any good. It's pointless, to reach out to someone who is completely closed. And how do they say? You can't teach a pig to sing. It doesn't sound very good, and all it does is irritate the pig. And I've probably destroyed the little saying. But, I guess heart will guide you as it does me. And I hope that all of us can open up into this and be brave enough to go along with what's different. We can be observing and we can be noticing, gee, this is different. I don't normally do this sort of thing, or I don't normally say this. But just to go along with that flow, I'm trusting it. I'm finding that it is from heart, and it's just interesting. Uh, Things that would have once upset or offended me or made me not fearful, but very, very uncomfortable. It's water off a duck's back in a way now. I mean, there's even a certain beauty in some of the interchanges. As a matter of fact, I have found sometimes when people comment really negatively on me, and I would come back and say, gee, it looks like you're having a bad day, and chat with them, they've turned out to be perfectly wonderful folks. And so I can't say that I understand what's going on here, but I just wanted to share a little bit of that. And I just feel like it will echo in you, because we're all one. And even though we don't have full conscious awareness of that yet, watch what you're saying, watch your words. Always try to be careful not to hex yourself by saying, I can't do this, or this is too hard. Soften that up and say, yet. And our words are more powerful than we realize. I sure love you guys. Have a blessed day, a blessed night, a blessed year, a blessed life.